It's a boldly invigorated trade bell now. One of the most debated in many a year this Lachie Neale scenario will end up being, because it's the intersection of so many ideas, footy and family and holding players to contracts and the modern trend of being able to walk away. And what do you get? Trade back in good faith. Everybody's got a view. Everybody's got a solution and a creative idea. You've emailed them through. You've texted them through. We promised to put some time aside in the trade bell to workshop them. So, Sam Edmund, welcome.
Hello, Gerard. I come in here with a touch of nervousness today about what we might unfold.
Set the scene for us before we get into the best and creative solutions.
So, such a bizarre situation with Lachie Neale, and you cannot undersell the level of shock on Sunday night and throughout yesterday at the Lions and even elements of Neale's management company, TLA, who are a big company, and he remains torn. I think in that meeting yesterday with the Brisbane Lions, that lunchtime meeting that took place at the Gabba with the CEO, Greg Swan, the coach, Chris Fagan, the head of football, Danny Daly, he came and he went all in the space of one conversation. It was said that he was incredibly torn. We know there's personal motivation for him to return to Perth, his partner Jules, and their daughter, who is going to be born over summer. So some in the Neale camp believe it's best for him to stay and honour the contract publicly, and this is where all parties are aligned, that Lachie has gone away and he's got some serious thinking to do over the next period of time. The Lions think it's inevitable that the trade request comes, but the Lachie Neale camp say that would be premature to say that at the moment. So Fremantle haven't spoken to him or been untoward, we're told, and we're dealing with one transaction at the moment, Gerard. So as much as we love a three-way, four-way, five-way, we are told just at the moment that it's one transaction. Now, the other part of it is he's got 2 years to run the contract, the 5-year deal, as you mentioned earlier. So the Brisbane Lions have paid around 70% of his contract. So Fremantle would be getting a cut price Brownlow medalist for 2 years. And the financial imbalance is what gives Brisbane and its list manager, Dom Ambrosio, real clout at the trade table. They'll want 2 first-rounders, but it's not a great year to have 4 first-rounders at all, given the lack of football that we've seen. Recruiters can't get into state to watch these games. I don't think the Lions recruiters have been to WA or SA for 12 months or more. So that's all part of it as well. There's so much uncertainty around the draft that you don't know what you're getting. So to have 4 first-rounders and trying to replace Lachie Neale, the compromise, I'm told, could be he stays for one more. That's not beyond the realms of possibility that, okay, we get your situation, but you need to stay for one more year. And we have seen that historically with other players at other clubs. I don't think the Lions at this stage will hold Neale against his will if he's absolutely resolutely determined to get back. But they're in the dark for now, as I say, Gerard, and we wait.
All right. So we petitioned at this time yesterday. If you've got a solution, hold it back and then send them through. So let me start to work through the emails first before we get to the texts.
Sure.
So Luke, bored in lockdown, I've had a crack at solving the Neale deal. I'm a Fremantle fan. So probably incumbent just to declare your allegiance as we start. A beautiful 4-step process because
He's laid
it's
it
not
out.
2. The best way to do it on radio is to say, Sydney in pick 6 and pick 25, out Luke Parker and pick 12. Carlton in Cerra, out pick 6, 25 and 61.
Yep.
Fremantle in Lachie Neale, pick 12 and 47, out Cerra and pick 27. And the Lions in Luke Parker, pick 16, 27 and 61, and out Lachie Neale and 47.
Yeah. It's so hard to get your head around these at short notice, isn't it? I think that's overs from a Carlton perspective. So we've got Luke Scott, Carlton giving up 12 and 16 and 61 to Fremantle. I know he says it equates to pick 3, but that's a lot to give up for Adam Cerra, 2 first-rounders. I just can't see that. And then the Lions probably reluctant to do that deal either.
It's not enough for the Lions.
It's not enough.
Parker, 16, 27 and 61. They have to have it. There has to be a single-figure pick in there.
Yeah, I don't think the Lions would do that.
Michael has emailed through. Freo lose Cerra, gain Neale and slide their pick 8 to pick 14. Brisbane on trades to North, fair deal.
Let me guess he breaks for North.
I'd say so. Carlton gain Cerra, lose pick 6 and swap pick 25 for North's 38, fair deal. I like the running commentary of what's fair along the way.
Yep.
Brisbane lose Neale to Freo and their pick 14 to North, but pick up Cunnington,
Hello.
Hall, and Anderson, a future third rounder from North. Fair deal if you're in the window. And rebuild properly. This is the North perspective. Pull the trigger. North lose Cunners, Hall, and Anderson, and 38 in a future third rounder, but get 6, 8, and 25. Great deal. Well done, Michael. That's brilliant.
One thing you didn't mention, though, Jared, he threw in a sweetener in a separate email, Michael, and he wrote in, you know what, I'll throw in Goldstein as well. So you keep our third rounder and get Brisbane to throw in 25-ish, if that helps. First part, I think, has some merit. Freo, Cerra, and the pick slide. The Carlton part 2, gaining Cerra for 6, swapping 25 with 38 with North Melbourne. That at least makes sense on paper. The bit I struggle with is North Melbourne. So the Lions lose Neale to Fremantle along with 15 for Cunnington, Hall, and Anderson. I'm not sure the Lions will jump at that. Hall did just save his career this year. Anderson adds calf and ankles, and Cunnington is 30. And I think North Melbourne might be happy if Anderson and Hall moved on. Not so much Cunnington, who needs to hang around while they facilitate this rebuild. But I love it. I love the sweetener.
Michael in Cranbourne. North's future first round, second round, and Sean Atley to Fremantle for Cerra. Then Fremantle and North's future first, the Lions for Neale, and a second round pick. Too complicated? I think not.
I like him.
Answering his own question. Cerra for pick 6. That goes to Brisbane for Neale. Freo also trade pick 8 for Tom Mitchell. And finally trade Rory Lobb for Brodie Myercheck.
Wow.
Now that took a turn.
Lob for my check.
Lob for Myercheck.
So it might get to the point where it just becomes so difficult to orchestrate an agreement between two hard-nosed negotiators in Peter Bell and Dom Ambrosio that it might facilitate a third club or, hey, look, if we can dream, a fourth club perhaps, and you get this big merry-go-round, because it is hard to see if the Brisbane Lions do lose Lachie Neale, not replacing him with an equivalent or as close they can, because they're in the window, Jared.
Yep.
I just can't see them taking 3, 4 first-round picks to the draft. It just wouldn't make sense.
I am drawn to a Trade Bell text that ends with lock it in.
Take it to the bank.
Cerra to the Ds, Weed and next year's first rounder to the Dockers, Neale to the Dockers for their first round this year, and D's first rounder next year.
Oh, I'm going to have to get that written down. Yeah, okay. Futures we haven't seen mentioned in our emails either. So
What happened to the Lions in that scenario?
the Lions just lost Lachie Neale and didn't get anything back.
Didn't get anything back. They got lost in the wash somewhere.
Just a garage sale, was it?
As's text through. Big news. Tommy Mitchell to request trade to the Blues in the coming days. Obviously, with Dad's history at the club, his mentor is, you guessed it, Diesel Williams. So Az has just broken off in a completely different direction.
I checked this morning. There's still no change in the Tom Mitchell situation. So we need to put that out there. He's saying at the moment things might change, but at the moment, Hawthorn are committed to keeping him. There is a text here. Guys, this trade discussion needs more Adrian Dodoro involvement, please. It is missing something.
You've got to get all the right people
You've got to get
around
the
table.
Essendon in, don't you?
God, there's some good stuff here. Some of it can't really be read. It's probably borderline anyway. This is all jargon I'm hearing. I'm a Lions fan. Cerra to Carlton for 6. Neale and 14 to Freo for 6 and 8. Luke Parker to the Lions as an unrestricted free agent.
Yeah, and Luke Parker, part of that aside, I think that's the bit that makes the most sense. If you are going to involve Carlton in a three-way trade, that is the most simplest point that makes the most sense. But as I say, I think if they have their way and he goes back to Fremantle, this will just be a single transaction. Carlton won't want to get involved, that's for certain.
I enjoyed that immensely. Well done to you all. I haven't even done justice to, I reckon, 15% of the texts
I've got a
sent through
migraine.
and emails as well. Trade Bell tomorrow will be a little bit broader. I enjoy it. Well done, sir.
Because there's a lot of other texts coming through
Yes.
here, so I'm writing them down. Yeah, we'll ring the bell tomorrow.
Special Trade Bell.